But before we get started today, my friends, I have to tell you, this is a podcast exclusive plug to the Dollar Shave Club. If you know what I look like, you know I've got quite a bit of facial hair. And if you want it to be well trimmed or you don't want any facial hair whatsoever, go to Dollar Shave Club. Go to the link below in this posting, either YouTube or your podcast, whatever. Click on it, visit it. Purchase maybe something for the holidays, or if you want to give someone a really passive-aggressive gift about being well-shaved, that works too. But if you go down there and get something, you do support the podcast and support the show by doing so. So check out DollarShaveClub.com. They've got some pretty nice specials for the holidays for you to check out. Not only just blades, but also skincare. So, have nice skin, nice shaves, nice facial hair for ladies, guys, and everyone else. Check out Dollar Shave Club. Click on the link below to check out their great products.
Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you, my friends, and welcome once again to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur infrastructure expert. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want you to be part of the conversation. I want you to join me. I want you to engage with me. So find me on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook at Colt S. Taylor. And of course, you can tap me for your own personal message at cameo.com/Colt S. Taylor. And as always, my friends, if you've missed any broadcast, the podcast version of the show, with occasionally a few extra things, can be found at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor. All right, my friends, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, some sad news. Kirstie Alley passed away this week at the age of 71 years old, after a brief battle, apparently with colon cancer that was only recently discovered. Kirstie Alley, best known for playing Rebecca Howell on the NBC sitcom Cheers from 1987 to 1993. She received an Emmy Award and Golden Globe in 1991. She was also, from 1997 to 2000, the lead in the sitcom Veronica's Closet, earning her additional Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. She also had quite a role in the film, I think best known for Look Who's Talking with John Travolta and Bruce Willis as the voice of the baby, by the way, as well as two sequels, Look Who's Talking 2, and which featured two babies, and then Look Who's Talking Now, which featured dogs. So Look Who's Talking 2, Look Who's Talking 2, had also had Olympia Dukakis in it, and Bruce Willis was the voice of the baby in both movies. In the second movie, Roseanne Barr was the voice of the other baby. And then Look Who's Talking Now, the third movie with John Travolta and Kirstie Alley, featured talking dogs. Yes, talking dogs with Danny DeVito as Rox and Diane Keaton as Daphne. So, the first one really was the best one. Also known, I think also well known for her role in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. She was supposed to reprise that role in a future Star Trek movie, Undiscovered Country? I don't know which one, but she didn't. She was also in Summer School, Shoot to Kill, Madhouse, Sibling Rivalry, Village of the Damned, It Takes Two, Deconstructing Harry, For Richer or Poor, and Drop Dead Gorgeous. She was also in The Last Dawn crime series, which received a Emmy nomination in 1997. Also in the movie David's Mother, and she appeared on the Fox comedy horror series Scream Queens. She also did some reality television with Kirstie Alley's Big Life in 2010, Dancing with the Stars in 2012, and a stint on Celebrity Big Brother in 2018. And finally, in 2022, she appeared on The Masked Singer. Now, with that said, she was no stranger to a smidge of controversy. She was a big time Scientologist, which got a smidge of criticism after her passing away, with people saying that she was a new OT8, which is, I guess, a level 7, a level 8 operating thetan, I don't know. But apparently there is documentation that once you've reached level 8, you are immune to cancer, apparently. So I have my thoughts on Scientology, but I won't get into that right now. She donated $5 million to Scientology in 2007 as well. So, big Scientology person. She was also a big supporter of Donald Trump, apparently. In 2020, she said she had voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and intended to vote for him again because he's not a politician. Donald Trump released a statement about her, praising her for her early support of him because, you know, that's the way that works. Sorry, a little distracted here. And also supported Rudy Giuliani as well in 2016. Like I said, she passed away this week of colon cancer. Her ex-husband, Parker Stevens, and her 2 children, and Look Who's Talking star John Travolta, all released condolences to the media about her, as well as Ted Danson, Kelsey Grammer, and Rhea Perlman also released statements talking about her and expressing sadness about the passing, about her passing. So, unfortunately. And, sorry, the statement is pulling up right now. According to Rhea Perlman, Christy was a unique and wonderful person and friend. Her joy of being was boundless. We became friends almost instantly when she joined the cast of Cheers. She loved kids. She loved my kids, and my kids loved her too. We had sleepovers at her house. Her treasure hunts that she created. She had massive Halloween and Easter parties and invited the entire crew of the show and their families. She wanted everyone to feel included. She loved her children deeply. I've never met anyone remotely like her. I feel so thankful to have known her. I'm going to miss her very, very much. Ted Danson said, I was on the plane today and did something I rarely do. I watched an old episode of Cheers. It was the episode where Tom Berenger proposes to Christy, who keeps saying no, even though she desperately wants to say yes. Christy was truly brilliant in it. Her ability to play a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown was both moving and hysterically funny. She made me laugh 30 years ago when she shot that scene, and she made me laugh today just as hard. As I got off the plane, I heard Christy had died. I am so sad and so grateful for all the times she made me laugh. I send my love to her children. As they well know, their mother had a heart of gold. I will miss her. So, and then, like I said, John Travolta released a statement praising her as well. And I need to grab that because I accidentally closed that window. There we go. So John Travolta said, who's also a big time Scientology person too. Let's see here. You know what? I can't find it. But John Travolta said some very nice things about her as well. So, Christy Alley, star of Cheers, Look Who's Talking, and various other things, has passed away at the age of 71 this week due to colon cancer. Moving along, also passing away this week, probably a little lesser known, but I knew of him very well. Legendary boxing referee Mills Lane passed away at the age of 85. He was a very famous boxing referee. He refereed the infamous 1997 bout between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, where Mike Tyson bit out a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear. Fun fact, those two have actually teamed up to sell weed-infused gummies shaped like ears together. And they're selling those online. They're selling hemp or THC, I don't know, marijuana-infused gummies, because that's the big thing now, and they're shaped like ears. Apparently, Evander Holyfield's ears with a bite chunk out. Brilliant marketing move. Anyways, Judge Mills Lane's referee Mills Lane's refereed that match, ultimately DQ'd Mike Tyson, and then retired from refereeing in 1998. He went on to host his own court show called Judge Mill Lanes, and it was also featured in the claymation show Celebrity Deathmatch. That's right, that old show where celebrities would fight each other to the death. He was the referee. And he had a catchphrase of "Let's get it on," and then also in the show, when the contestants would fight each other, someone would bring something very strange into the death match, and Mills Lanes would say, "I'll allow it." I was a big fan of Mills Lanes in Celebrity Deathmatch as well. He left the show in 2002 after suffering a stroke, but recovered more or less from it. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2013. He was also, throughout his career, a district attorney, a prosecutor, and actually a real-life judge. And then when he was in the Marines in his 20s, he also boxed in the Marines. He went pro, went 10-1 before becoming a referee in the sport. According to statement, he was in the hospice in his last few months and had passed away this week in Nevada. According to his son Tommy, he said he took a significant decline in his overall situation. It was a quick departure. He was comfortable and he was surrounded by family. So, world famous in my opinion, the famous legendary boxing referee Mill Lanes passed away this week at the age of 85. Best known catchphrases was "Let's get it on" and "I'll allow it." He was a very, very talented person. And listen, Celebrity Deathmatch, cultural point in the United States of watching claymation celebrities beat each other up on MTV, and they got a real life referee to voice the referee. I mean, he was a great referee. Next up, my friends, we go to Florida, where, as you may have heard in the news, this year they passed what has been widely criticized as the Don't Say Gay law, where basically they prevented various schools from talking about various subjects, basically sort of erasing the whole LGBTQ plus community in Florida by not talking about them in any shape or form. Now, I'm not here to talk about that ridiculous law that is clearly pandering to a certain part of the population for some governor's future possible presidential run. Not saying that. However, what I am saying is that it was sponsored and written by a 35-year-old Republican, Joe Harding, who resigned yesterday because he's been indicted on federal charges of wire fraud and other fraud. So, yeah, he was arrested and indicted, and his trial starts January 11th. And he said, you know what? Time for me to resign. So, this guy who, doesn't like certain demographics of the Florida population is about to get a very, very up-close and personal education of other aspects of the law, notably wire fraud. He is accused of obtaining more than $100,000 from Small Business Administration in pandemic aid loans illegally. So he's been charged on 2 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of money laundering, and 2 counts of making false statements. So, yeah. So he says that I want the public and my constituents to know that I fully repaid the loan and cooperated with investigators as requested. You know what? I would say prosecutors disagree about your cooperation there. So I don't know what sort of terms in prison those charges carry, but you know what? Could happen to a nicer person. So good luck there, former Representative Harding. You know what, karma? It's quite a thing. Warp, warp. My friends, when you are thinking that, you know what, should I launder some money from the federal government? Perhaps I should listen to some music first. Well, if you're going to listen to music that will steer you on the right side of the law, there's no one better than my pal DC. Yes, that's a segue. My pal DC has 3 shows here on AWSM Radio. I don't know how he does it. He is a machine. And you should listen to every single one of them. The first one is DC Live in Effect, where our in-house DJ, DC, mixes it up every Friday night at 9 p.m. You do not want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from South Florida. And then on Saturdays, it's DC House Party Saturdays. DC brings his freestyling DJ to the max. House Party Saturdays gives you all the Miami vibe without actually having to be there. From the top clubs to the bars, DC will bring the party, my friends, to you. That's Saturdays at 10 p.m. And then on Sundays at 10 p.m., it's DC Live in Effect again. So, just to review, we've got DC Live in Effect, Fridays at 9, DC House Party Saturdays, Saturdays at 10, and then DC Live in Effect again, Sundays at 10 p.m. All here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. My friends, before we move on, let me tell you about Social Bee. Social Bee is a social media tool that enables posting across all of your social media profiles. If you're like me, you've got quite a few, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, Google My Business, and TikTok. You can use Canva, Unsplash, and Gifly integrations to make your posts pop. Structure your content into categories to obtain a solid and balanced mix. Connect an RSS feed to any blog to import content automatically. Doesn't work for you. Customize the post for each social media network individually, because we all know, like, you could post the same thing on all social media networks, but if you customize them for the channel, they often perform better. Automatically generate hashtags based on your images or caption. Recycle evergreen posts to expire time-sensitive content easily. Don't need to figure that out. Set a posting schedule for all your profiles. Have multiple workspaces and team collaboration features. And finally, track your links performance with over 5 URL shortener integrations. And of course, analyze the performance of your accounts. So it is a full-service social media posting service. I use them. So if you found this podcast due to a social media post, you can thank Social Bee for helping you find me. And you should check them out at socialbee.io. Try them out for free for 14 days. And listen, if you do, and you're like me, you're going to want to. Next up, my friends, we go to North Carolina, North Kakalaki, where something strange is going on down there. Last week or so, there was a power outage. A power outage that lasted several days down there. Now, power outages, hey, they happen. Branches fall. Systems wear out. Snow, rain, ice. Even a squirrel might electrocute itself inside the substation. But you know what really doesn't help power substations very well? Gunfire, yes. Apparently someone shot up two substations, causing power outage of all in Moore County, North Carolina. Now, who would shoot up a power station? Well, to cause a power outage. Now, there is a popular theory right now that this was an attack to stop a drag show. Yes, a drag show was going on in this town in Moore County at the Sunrise Theater, and called Downtown Divas, and there was being protested, and then, gosh, power went out right before it was supposed to happen, almost like they're trying to stop the show by shooting up a power station. Weird, huh? So the FBI is definitely involved because this was a terrorist attack on infrastructure. And it was not one, but 2 places as well. So it was a coordinated attack on the infrastructure. So it's domestic terrorism, okay? According to a statement released by Jared Holt, a political extremist expert for the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, he did, however, cautioned drawing conclusions too soon at the time. He said, LGBTQ communities are certainly valid and have more than enough reason to fear that they may be the target of harassment, violence, or worse in today's social climate. But by jumping ahead and making these assertions on something that is deadly serious, like attacking critical infrastructure, I'm concerned about instilling fear into a community that is already on edge when the facts are uncertain. We're drawing all kinds of lines between dots, but unfortunately, none of that is hard proof. It's circumstantial. However, there is a bit of an online suspect for this. A person named Emily Rainey, who is a former military psychological operations officer who left the military while under investigation for leading a group of people from North Carolina to January 6, 2021, the insurrection of the Capitol, has been a vocal opponent of drag shows in her state. When there was a power outage, she posted less than an hour later, "The power is out in Moore County, and I know why." And then she posted, "God will not be mocked." Obviously, the sheriff went out there and talked to them. And she said that, she wasn't behind it. She said, this is just a holy thing. Talked to the sheriff, and we prayed for a while, and they went off on their way. Fun fact, it seems like she's buddy-buddy with the sheriff, too. So there is a thought that the sheriff maybe not is investigating her as hard as he could. And that's why the FBI is now involved. She has been protesting these things for quite a while, posting things like, "You know what to do." And she is a really terrible person out there. Now that the FBI is involved in this, they apparently have been putting out some warrants, and they have some suspects in mind. But this is a big concern because there have been other incidences against critical infrastructure over the last few days, even the last few years. There were substations in Oregon and Washington that were attacked in November. At least five. One was hit in Oregon. A substation at Clackamas was damaged in a deliberate physical attack over the Thanksgiving holiday. The BPA, which is the electric people out there, operators discovered a cut perimeter fence and damaged equipment inside. The company is working with the FBI. And in Washington State, 2 incidents occurred in late November at 2 different substations. Both incidents are currently being investigated by the FBI. We are aware of the recent threats on power systems across the country and take this very, very seriously. And this is a bit of a problem. Because these substations are usually just protected by a fence. It doesn't take much to damage them. And this is a concern from the FBI. In 2013, there was a sniper attack on a high voltage substation in Silicon Valley that destroyed 17 transformers and cost $15 million in repairs. Now, they recovered bullets from that incident, and they're different, the ones used in North Carolina, but it looks like this may be a more common thing. A lot of right-wing extremists online are saying this is a great way to stop drag shows by cutting the power to 40,000+ people in a county for like 3 or 4 days. So, yeah. So, I certainly hope they get these people and put them away for quite a while. There is a $75,000 award out there for anyone giving information leading to the arrest. Those in the area report hearing 20 gunshots in quick succession on the night of the attack. But the power didn't go off for another 30 minutes, which isn't too surprising because, these things start to overheat and then will finally break down. It was crippling. 45,000 homes and businesses had no power for several days. Cell phone towers went down. There was no internet. Obviously, food went bad. There was a tremendous amount of damage to the economy and the area over the last few days. So, glad the power's back on, and I hope whoever did this, they send them away for a very, very long time for their stupid, bigoted, 1950s, backwards, slack-jawed yokel opinions. Also, domestic terrorism. Not going away for being jerks, but going away to jail for being a domestic terrorist. Next up, my friends, a follow-up to a story I did quite a while ago. And I know that my grandmother would want me to follow up on this story. So remember when Lady Gaga's dogs were kidnapped and then found by just a random Good Samaritan? And it turns out that Good Samaritan had a connection to the folks that stole her dogs. Well, and then her dog walker was shot and almost died. Remember that? Well, the man who shot and wounded Lady Gaga's dog walker for stealing her French bulldogs took a plea deal and was sentenced to 21 years in prison on Monday. Apparently, the connection with Lady Gaga was just a coincidence. At the time, they thought it was targeted, but it turned out they were just looking for expensive French bulldogs. Apparently, they can run thousands of dollars. There's a bulldog black market out there, I guess. I don't know. But James Howard Jackson was one of three men and two accomplices that participated in the violent robbery and attempted murder as well. And the dog walker, Ryan Fisher, was seriously wounded. He put out a statement on Instagram saying, "It's hard to believe that it's nearly 2 years since I was taking Asia, Koji, and Gustav out for an evening stroll when, in an instant, I found myself fighting for everything I had to protect those dogs from being stolen. But it wasn't enough. I was beaten, strangled, shot, and left to die bleeding out on the sidewalk, gasping for life. And Koji and Gustav was gone." So Jackson and the other two drove around Hollywood on February 2021 looking for French bulldogs. They found Fisher and the pop star's three pets. Jackson shot Fisher during the robbery on the famed Sunset Boulevard. A nearby doorbell recorded the dog walker screaming, "Oh my God, I've been shot. Help me. I'm bleeding out from my chest." It was a very close call with death. Almost died. He is still healing physically and mentally from the shooting. He's undergoing physical therapy still. He had part of his lung removed during the incident. During a statement, during the victim impact statement, he said, "You completely altered my life, and I know I can't fully move forward from that night. You shot me until I said those words to you." The dogs were returned to several days later by Jennifer McBride, who was also charged in the crime because she had a connection to it. The pop star offered a $500,000 reward, no questions asked, to be reunited with her dogs. Then Jackson admitted the allegation. He admitted in the allegation he played no contest of inflicting great bodily injury, and to a prior strike. The DA's office said the prosecutor's office did not immediately say what the prior strike was. According to a statement from the prosecutor's office, quote, "The plea agreement holds Mr. Jackson accountable for perpetrating a cold-hearted violent act that provides justice to our victim." So he was charged with attempted murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, and assault with a semi-automatic firearm. He was actually accidentally released from the jail earlier this year. I guess I missed that. Due to a clerical error, and was recaptured nearly 5 months later. Wow, how did I miss that? I'm just finding out about that. 5 months to find him again. Jeez Louise. But anyways, his other accomplices pled no contest to a ex-convict in possession of a gun. It was Howard White, and then he was in a relationship with McBride at the time. Will be sentenced next year. And McBride, the one who returned the dogs and hoping to get $500,000, her case is still outgoing. The couple had allegedly tried to help White's son, Jalen White, to avoid the aftermath of the arrest after the aftermath of the shooting. So he's going to jail. Hopefully they don't accidentally release him. No comment from Lady Gaga. I assume the dogs are still doing quite well, but that should probably end that story that I first reported here for a few weeks in 2021. So, I always like to go back and follow up on stories I knew before if they're brought to my attention. I obviously missed the part where it was released for 5 months. Jeez, I guess that. How did that not make national news and not cross my news desk? I need a better research team. Also, I need a research team because I don't have one. It's just me. My friends, although Lady Gaga has nothing to say about the conviction of the folks that almost killed her dog walker, I bet Lady Gaga does occasionally make a statement or at least sings a song on the Rock Sessions. Yes, that's right. That's a segue. Rock Sessions is our drive time show here on AWSM Radio, making sure that your evening commute home is fun, featuring the hottest music on the charts and some other surprises in between. My friend Rox will make it rock style, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., only here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Next up, my friends, we go to South America and Peru, where there was an attempted coup, an attempted self-coup in Peru this week. Basically, a self-coup is when a person of authority tries to seize power and dissolve the government and be in charge with emergency powers. You may remember that attempt January 6, 2021, but we won't get into that. But the Peruvian president tried to do that. He tried to dissolve the government, take emergency powers, and reorganize the judiciary system after basically a plethora of investigations towards him started to really heat up, and there was an impeachment attempt. And so to avoid impeachment, he tried to dissolve government. So if there's no government, you can't impeach me. Well, that did not go over too well. The government refused to be dissolved. He called for the military to sort of reestablish law and order. The military says, you can't do that, bro. And so he was arrested. And he was removed from office, and now there is a new president of Peru, the first female president of the country in its history of being independent, and also the sixth president in the last 5 years of Peru. They've had a wee bit of an issue down there. Like I said, he tried to dissolve government and call for fresh elections. After that happened, his cabinet resigned. Top officials left, neighbors angrily condemned it, and then he tried to get the military to enforce his decree. They said no, and he was arrested. So it's amazing that they could get things done pretty quickly there to stop a self-coup there. So he was actually elected in 2021. In 2021, that's right, just a little over a year ago, he in a narrow runoff. It was seen part of the pink tide, a new crop of left-wing leaders in Latin America, but had a lot of issues and a lot of investigations. And then he tried to seize power, and they the system held down there. So, yeah. Pretty crazy stuff down there. And so there's new president, maybe new elections. We'll see what happens. But fortunately, a dictator did not take control of Peru. The institutions held down there, and now the first female president of Peru is now in charge there. So, boy, that was you think of coups in South America, you think the 50s and 60s, but it still can be a little bit volatile there in that part of the world. But my friends, that wasn't the only coup attempt around the world. On the same day when this all went down in Peru, German authorities said that they had foiled a German coup attempt. Yes, Germany and coups. Boy, doesn't have a great history. But apparently there was a plan to reinstall a a descendant of the German royal family, the Kaiser, okay, as the head of state and sort of dismantle the German government in Germany. But this week, 25 people were arrested in their role of trying to start a coup to reinstall a German monarchist government in Germany. Now, listen, lots of people talk about, that sort of stuff, but these folks had a bit of a plan and had a whole lot of guns, too. So they plan to attack various government institutions in Germany, attack the Reichstag, make public arrests of German officials, and then reinstate this guy who is a self-described prince. I guess he's a descendant of German royalty, I guess. I don't know. But tried to do it, or were in the planning stages of doing it, and German authorities this week swooped in 3,000 officers in 130 locations, one of the largest counter-terror operations in the country's history. Arrested 25 people. They are looking at 27 other people, and they're saying that this is a conglomerate of conspiracy theories consisting of narratives of the so-called Reichsbürger and QAnon ideologies. These people refer to themselves as Reich citizens, a movement that believes the modern German state is illegitimate. The Reichsbürger movement espouses many of the same beliefs as the sovereign citizen movement in the United States. They firmly believe that, quote, they are firmly convinced Germany is currently governed by members of a so-called, you guessed it, folks, deep state. They apparently tried to make contact with Russia. There's no firm proof that they got anything from there, but it's something they're looking into. They allegedly organized armed trainings, have a shadow cabinet, made plans to bring down power grid and take over IT systems. Among the alleged collaborators were a judge, a former member of the Bundestag, which is the German government, a German prince, current and former members of the military, and an ex-police chief. According to the Germany's military counter-intelligence service, several reservists are also suspected of the plot. So these folks were moved along quite a bit with this. They planned to have a sort of January 6th style storming of the government to make arrests, and they assumed that the rest of the civil service and police and military, once they had seized power, would just go along with it to fight the deep state. So, yikes, right? And no surprise here. They thought Russia would help them because a lot of these folks, Germany, elsewhere, QAnon, even I'll be very conservative here to say that certain fringe elements of the right-wing establishment here in the United States think that Vladimir Putin is the great Christian hope to vanquish the deep state. And, other things like, anything that isn't quote-unquote traditional, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you get my drift. But anyways, these folks were all arrested. They are looking after some other people as well. And, so, this sort of style coup has been attempted in the past in Germany, in the 20s and 30s. But something like this was, seems like a much more along than other attempts, and concerned enough to make one of the largest counter-terror operations in recent memory against these folks who were trying once again to have a monarchist-style coup against the current German government. Whew. My friends, if you need a go-to spot for all things basketball, then you need to drop in here Wednesdays at 9 p.m. for To the Rack with Mac. Join NBA expert Mac Daddy as he brings you a full hour of high-flying hoops expertise That's Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., it's What's Going On. It is our Fox Sports affiliate show, providing listeners with over 150 combined years of sports knowledge. Hosted by Nate Brown and his crew, they have been a staple of New York sports for the past 2 decades, and now they're here on AWSM Radio, Wednesdays at 10 p.m. So, for all things sports, Wednesdays, 9 p.m., To the Rack with Mac, Wednesdays at 10 p.m., What's Going On, only here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. And finally, this week we end in New York City, where New York Mayor Eric Adams, known for his crusade against rats in the city, was fined for a rat infestation at one of his Brooklyn properties. He was fined $300 by an inspector after finding rat droppings on his properties. In a statement to New York One, he said, $6,800, that's how much money I spent to do rat mitigation on my property and throughout the block. I did a good job at mitigating rats. I speak with my neighbors about it. We make sure that we do everything possible to deal with these rodents. He plans to appeal the fine, which he also encourages other people to do if they feel like they have been unfairly fined. It's their right to go in front of a magistrate judge and let them know that they're trying their best and they've put some effort into it, and then the fine will be hopefully reversed. He recently declared a war on rats, and there is a job listing in government for a rat czar who will take on, I guess, the rat problem in New York City. So a bit of embarrassment, I suppose. I'm sure a lot of newspapers were very eager to report on that, but it is a city with rats and whatnot, and not too uncommon. But who will probably appeal it, show his receipts, and get the fine reversed. Well, my friends, that just wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Reminder, you can find me on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, and on twitch.tv at Colt S. Taylor, where I stream myself recording the show. You should join me, follow that, and you'll be alerted when I go online. And then if you think I missed a story, let me know. Hit me up on my social media channels. The podcast version of this show will be available on anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor and on YouTube Sunday around noonish. And of course, for all things Colt Sebastian Taylor, follow ColtSebastianTaylor.com. Alright, my friends, until next time, I am, of course, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later. And thank you for listening to the podcast version of the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Remember, go to the links below to support the show, the Dollar Shave Club, for all your shaving and skincare needs, and socialbee.io for all your social media posting needs. They are 2 great outfits. And like I said, any clicks, any signups, and any purchases do help support the show. And you know what? They're also, like I said, they're also good people. I like chatting with them. They're fun folks. So check them out. And thank you once again for listening to the podcast version of the show. And I will see you next week, my friends, here on the Colt Sebastian Taylor social media network around the world and stuff.